Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World. So I've done probably some videos or tips on saving seeds, and there's plenty of other saving seed videos out there. We always talk about how you should make sure that you store your seeds properly if you want to save them to grow the following season. Things like keeping them in a dark, dry, cool place. Keep them wrapped up and all that sort of thing. And generally that is the rule. However, sometimes absolute neglect also works. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
One seed, one world, just plant it and see. One seed, one world, come and garden with me.
So here, hopefully it comes up on the camera okay with this lighting. The sun has kind of gone in and out of the clouds today. But I have a okra plant that I grew last year. And I had a few okra plants. They didn't do a whole lot. I got them in late. They struggled for a while because I stuck them in areas that weren't very well suited to their growing needs. They were surrounded by dill and other plants that kind of, I think, took a lot of their nutrients. So by the time they really started to get going, it was near the end of the season. So I never really picked any, I just kind of left them. Well, I left them out here all winter. And the plant is still here dead because we had multiple snows. We had temperatures over this winter that were, in some cases, sub-zero Fahrenheit degrees. So, that's not conducive to growing a healthy plant. Especially an okra that likes the heat. So, but it did produce some pods. And the pods are still here, all brown and mostly dry, although we did get a bunch of rain over the last couple of days, but it got these dry pods. And inside these dry pods, I'll show you here, there's a bunch of seeds. I can get that up on the camera. Little okra seeds. Now, I didn't think that they would probably be any good since they sat out here all winter and didn't do anything. There was another plant that had kind of died off by the fall that I had taken some of the pods and just picked them off and stuck them in the greenhouse. So I had a little pile of pods there and they just dried up in there. So I decided to take some of the seeds and put them in the ground. I did that a couple weeks ago. Decided to just see what would happen. So because I wasn't really sure what their viability would be or germination rates would be, I just basically made a couple little holes in these different boxes and threw some seed, like 4 or 5 seeds in each one in the ground just to see what would happen. Well, something happened. See here in this box, we got 3 okra plants that have sprouted. Come over to my next little box. Got 2 more that have sprouted here. And in the third box, there's a couple more that have popped up. So that just goes to show you that sometimes Mother Nature doesn't always need your help, and everything doesn't have to be what you think are perfect conditions for saving your seeds. Now, as a general rule, you probably might not want to do this with all your varieties, especially since a lot of times things will reseed themselves in areas that you might not want to be growing them. I know for other examples, in my garden every year, I have random dill that comes up all over the place because I planted dill one year and now the seeds have fallen, spread, sprouted, and they just keep doing that every year. And I've got dill that comes up in all different areas. I don't even really have to plant it anymore because I've got bunches of dill everywhere. In addition, I grow the scarlet runner beans. There's always some dried beans left over after harvest in the fall. And those tend to fall off, get in the dirt, and they sprout kind of wherever they fall each spring. the Cherokee black beans. I've got some that are sprouting that I planted last year that grew, and some dry beans fell in and they sprouted up. Things like oregano will continue to spread as it seeds and does its thing. And also I always have tomatoes that come up every year in just like huge bunches, where like a rotten tomato fell or I threw one on the ground, and then the following spring I suddenly have 100 tomato sprouts coming out of that little area where they fell. And so you can transplant them or get rid of them, you know, depending on what you want to do. But it's not always about perfection when it comes to saving seeds, because sometimes things will be in the worst conditions that you can think of: snow, sleet, you know, freezing rain, sub-zero temperatures, but the seeds come through. The plant wants, any of these plants, they really want to perpetuate themselves, and that's the whole reason why they produce seeds to begin with, so they can keep their species going. And so they will find a way. Now, I wouldn't, if you're collecting seeds and, you know, putting them inside, I wouldn't, you know, treat them badly. Try to still do the cool, dry, dark spaces when you're saving large batches of seeds. But the whole point of this video is to let you know that, one, looks like I'm going to have some okra this year, and two, it doesn't always have to be perfect. Stuff can be left outside and it will resprout, or the seeds inside of stuff that was left outside, if it dried up, you can probably collect it and plant it and get something out of it. So let me know what kind of stuff that you have experienced with resprouting your garden, or stuff that you didn't think was going to work because you grabbed it too late or the following year and grew a nice healthy plant out of it. Let me know the varieties and things that work for you, or things that have kind of just taken over for you, like my dill that just kind of grows up willy-nilly everywhere. But I appreciate that you're hanging out again with me here today, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. One last note, if you're still watching this video, is that I did put a post on the community tab, but I've also started a short series, which is something I haven't really done a whole lot of shorts on. It's different than what I do with my long form videos, where I'm showing you stuff from the garden, giving gardening tips, build projects and all that. A lot of these are historical stories, odd history, weird history about plants, vegetables and all kinds of stuff throughout history. They're like a minute and a half long, you know, the normal short size. And they will be coming out every Tuesday and Friday morning. I've already made about 8 or 9, maybe 10 videos now that I've got queued up to come out every Tuesday and Friday. So I've got those scheduled out up until about the middle of June, and I'm still working on more. And so hopefully you'll check those out as well and get some enjoyment out of them. I find that that's a way for me to kind of share my history stuff that I like, without you having to listen to me ramble on these little shorts I can put together quickly, and just mainly focus on editing instead of rambling. I hope you're having a great day. Whatever's going on in your neck of the woods, I hope it's growing fantastic for you, and we will see you again soon. Have a great day. Namaste.